We're learning daily Nishmas Etta Ahuva Basak and Masechus Midos Perik Hey Mishnah Gimel. We're continuing with the Makam HaAzara, and the Mishnah says Sheish Lishkas Hayu BaAzara. There were 6 rooms in the Azara, Shalish B'Tzafim v'Shalish B'Darim. 3 were on the north side and 3 were on the left side. So that again takes up the last 2 Mishnayos in the Masechta. This Mishnah is going to speak about the ones on the north side, on the right side, and the next Mishnah is going to speak about the ones on the Darim, on the left side. So the ones on the north side were the Lishkas HaMelech, the Lishkas HaParva, and the Lishkas HaMadichim. And now the Mishnah is going to explain each one. The Lishkas HaMelech, Sheyinoisnim Melech LeCarbon. They put over there the salt for the carbon. Lishkas HaParva, the room of the Parva, which we'll explain why that came from. Sham HaYamolchen Oireis Kachim. Over there they salted the hides of the karbanis, va'al gaga, and on its roof, hayubeis hatfilo, the Kohen Gadol b'Yom HaKippurim, is where the Kohen Gadol did his first tefillah on Yom HaKippurim. The Gemara in Yuma, Daf Lamed Hey and Aleph says, "My parva, Omer Rav Yosef, parva amgusha." Parva is someone who does kishuf, and Rashi explains over there, Mechashev Echabanim. There was a person that built it through kishuf, and his name was Parva. So Taisus Yantav asks a question on this Rashi and says that how could it be that they left something in the Beis HaMikdash done through Kishuf? Why would they call it through his name? The Meiri says that he was actually Chayzer and he built it afterwards. And the Rosh over here brings the Rashi and says, V'Yisrael Havi, and he was a Yisrael. Because a guy is not allowed to build the Beis HaMikdash, Lo Lachem V'Lelanu Livneis Bayis. The other pshat in the Rosh, and the Taisus over there brings it in Yuman, Lamed Hey and Aleph, says that this person, Parva Chafar Mechila, he dug a tunnel, Tachas Karka B'Kodesh, underneath the Kodesh HaKadoshim, Achiyir Avodas Kohen Gadol, in order for him to see the Avodah of the Kohen Gadol. Here, Gishu HaKohenim B'Chafir, the Kohenim chap that someone was digging underneath, Matzu, and they found him. The Kara Isa Lishka Al Shemai, and that Lishka where they found him was called Parva. The Rosh says, Harguhu Sham, that's where they killed him. The Mishnah continues, Lishkas HaMadichim was the third Lishka, Shasham HaYimadichim, Kirvei Kodshim, that's where they washed off the Kirvei Kedashim. This is what we just spoke out in the last Mishnah, that Taisus was saying that the Shulchanas were meant for cleaning the Basar, and this was meant for cleaning the Kervayim. Misha Mesiba Oila Legag Beis HaParva, and from there was a Mesiba, which is like before the Mesiba was a ramp, here it's like a circular staircase that went up to the roof of the Beis Parva. Mishnah Dalet Shebedarim, the rooms on the left side of the Azara was the Lishkas HaEitz, the Lishkas HaGoyel, and the Lishkas HaGazas. And now we explain them. The Lishkas HaEitz, Omer Abelazar ben Yaakov, Shechachti Ma'aseh Misham Shemes, I forgot what it served, and not arguing, but Abishol Omer Lishkas Kohen Gadol Vihi Haisa Achure Shteim, that the Lishkas Kohen Gadol was behind the next 2 rooms that we're going to say, which was the Lishkas HaGoyla and the Lishkas HaGazas. The Gag Shleishtan Shavin, the roof of all 3 were equal. So now the remaining 2 rooms is the Lishkas HaGoyla. Sham haya bar kavua v'gilgul nasan alav v'misham maspikim mayim l'chol ha'azara. The Lishkas HaGoyla was a room where there was a pit that had water, and there was a wheel that they would roll down to bring up the water to supply to the Azara. It's discussed this bar HaGoyla in the Mishnah at the end of Erevin, that they made this bar when they came up in HaGoyla. And the final room was the Lishkas HaGazas, Sham Haisa Sanhedrin Gedola Shel Yisrael Yesheves. That's where the Sanhedrin Gedola sat, and it was called the Lishkas HaGazas. The Likutim on the side of the Mishnah says 2 pshatim, either because it was built from Avnei Gazas, so Yeshe Pirshu is really bringing from Ritva and Yuma Daf Pei Aleph, that because over there, the Mishnah is going to continue and say that they donned the Kohanim and they kicked them out from there, so it's called a lashon of by Yogaz to get rid of the Kohanim Hapsulim. That's why it was called Lishkas HaGazas. The Lishkas HaGazas was built Chetzia B'Kodesh, Chetzia B'Chol. We spoke about other things that were done over there. The pious was done over there, and they gathered there to say the Shema, and learned at the end of the 4th parak in Talmud. So the girsa we have is that the Lishkas HaGazas and all this was on the Dorim. The Teitzis Shanim in Yuma says that the girsa has to be switched around, and the Tiferes Yisrael points to that also. So everything in the beginning of the Mishnah, last Mishnah really, that we said was Safan was on Darim, and everything in this Mishnah we say on Darim was on the Safan was on the right side. So the Mishnah ends off what they do in the Lishkas Hagaz is Dana Sham Haises and Hedja Gedel Shal Yisrael Yeshev is Dana is Hakahuna. If a kohen shenimsa by psul, if a kohen was taka found pasal leivish shchayrim, he would wear dark clothes. Mesativ shchayrim v'yotzev ha'ilchayin, he would leave outside that exit. V'shaloi nimsa by psul, but if someone was found to be kosher, then leivish levenim mesativ levenim. Nichnas and Mishamish and Machav Akoyim Yontav Hayaisa, because they were happy. Shaloi nimsa psul bezari shal Aaron Akoyim. Kacha yoimim baruch hamakom baruch hu. Shaloi nimsa psul bezari shal Aaron baruch hu. Shabachar ba'Aaron ubanav lami l'sharis of Nei Hashem beis kodesh hakedoshim. That mentions the Eibishter that he chose Aaron and his children to stand to serve in front of him in the house of the Kodesh Kadoshim.